Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सतश्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, ISKCON founder Acharya, everybody founder Acharya, savior of the whole world Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakaचार्य Ashtottara Satashri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki, Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, प्रेम से गो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की, श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई की, जमुना माई की, तुलसी देवी की, भक्ति देवी की, समावित गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसजेंडरल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मैराथन की, युग धर्म हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Today morning we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, canto number 3, chapter number 3, text number 2. Three, 2. Sandipanehe sakrit proktam Brahmaditya savistaram Tasmai pradadvaram putram Tasmai pradadvaram putram Mritam pancha janodarat Sandipanehe sakrit proktam Brahmaditya savistaram Tasmai pradvadvaram putram Mritam pancha janodarat Sandipanehe sakrit proktam Brahmaditya savistaram Tasmai pradadvaram putram Mritam pancha janodarat. Let's recite. Sandipanehe sakrit proktam Brahmaditya savistaram Tasmai pradadvaram putram Mritam pancha janodarat Sandipanehe sakrit proktam Brahmaditya savistaram Tasmai pradadvaram putram Mritam pancha janodarat Sandipanehe sakrit proktam Brahmaditya savistaram Tasmai pradadvaram putram Mritam pancha janodarat Sandipanehe sakrit proktam Brahmaditya savistaram Tasmai pradadvaram putram Mritam pancha janodarat. Mataji's. Sandipanehe sakrit proktam Brahmaditya savistaram Tasmai pradadvaram putram Mritam pancha janodarat. Word for word meaning. Sandipanehe of Sandipani Muni, Sakrit once only, Proktam instructed, Brahma all the Vedas with their different branches of knowledge, Aditya after studying, Savistaram in all details, Tasmai unto him, Pradat rewarded, Varam a benediction, Putram his son, Mritam who was already dead, Panchajana the region of the departed souls, Udarat from within. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. The Lord learned all the Vedas with their different branches simply by hearing them once from his teacher, Sandipani Muni, whom he rewarded by bringing back his dead son from the region of Yamaloka. Purport. No one but the Supreme Lord can become well versed in all branches of Vedic wisdom simply by hearing once from his teacher. Nor can anyone bring a dead body back to life after the soul has already gone to the region of Yamaraja. But Lord Krishna ventured to the planet of Yamaloka and found the dead son of his teacher and brought him back to his father as a reward for the instructions received. The Lord is constitutionally well versed in all the Vedas, and yet to teach by example that everyone must go to learn the Vedas from an authorized teacher and must satisfy the teacher by service and reward, he himself adopted this system. The Lord offered his services to his teacher Sandipani Muni, and the Muni, knowing the power of the Lord, asked something which was impossible to be done by anyone else. The teacher asked that his beloved son who had died be brought back to him, and the Lord fulfilled that request. The Lord is not therefore an ingrate to anyone who renders him some sort of service. The devotees of the Lord who always engage in his loving service are never to be disappointed in the progressive march of devotional service. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarne Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Vashavaanavi Devi Daitaye Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnanadayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaur Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namastute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murte Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruddha Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaur Kishoraya Sakshad Vairagyamurtaye Viplambar Sambodhe Padambojayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaur Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate Gauravirbhava Bhume Sumnardeshta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathayate Namaha Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvashe Namaha Panchatattva Atmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Jayatam Surata Upangor Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvaspadam Bhojau Radha Madana Mohano Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadramada Srimad Ratnagar Simhasanastav Srimad Radha Shri Govinda Devo Pristali Sevimano Smarami Srimanda Sarasarambhe Vamshi Vata Tatastita Karshan Venu Swaner Gopir Gopinatha Shri Astunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Please repeat. The Lord learned all the Vedas with their different branches simply by hearing them once from his teacher Sandipani Muni, whom he rewarded by bringing back his dead son from the region of Yamaloka. So this third chapter and third canto, entitled as The Lord's Pastimes Out of Vrindavan, it is mentioned that the childhood pastimes of Krishna, especially in Vrindavan, are very, very nectarian, and they are available only on the earthly planet, Bhauma Vrindavan, because the Lord is always Nava Yauvanam. In spiritual world, Krishna is always 16 years old boy. So these pastimes are not even available in Golok Vrindavan. So, and they are very, very sweet, special pastimes. So there is many devotees must have heard. If you have not heard, there is a lecture series by His Holiness Gaur Krishna Maharaj on ISKCON Desire Tree. 19 lectures of Krishna's Balya Leela, Bhagwan Krishna ki Balya Leela. Very, very sweet pastimes. This is from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 10th canto. So, these are Lord's pastime out of Vrindavan, because Krishna is absolute, so it is within Vrindavan or outside Vrindavan. It is all sweet and purifying. In this chapter, the pastimes of Krishna are very briefly mentioned, because in the 10th canto, it will be described in detail. At the end of 9th canto, Lord Ramachandra's pastimes are described, and after that, Sukadeva Goswami, when he came to the pastimes of Krishna, narrating the pastimes of Krishna, he went very fast and very brief, similar just like here it is mentioned, just like last shloka what was mentioned, that Sri Uddhava said, thereafter Lord Krishna went to Mathura city with Sri Baladev, and to please their parents, they dragged Kamsa, the leader of public enemies, down from his throne and killed him, pulling him along the ground with great strength. So like this, in a very brief, Sukadeva Goswami mentioned at the end of 9th canto, Krishna's pastime. In few shlokas is finished all Krishna Leela. And 10th canto finished. But then Pariksit Maharaj out of eagerness said, wait. Don't go so fast. Describe in detail, narrate in detail, because this is very relishable. And then Sukadeva Goswami starts 10th canto in great detail. So similarly, here it is mentioned, but then 10th canto we see all these pastimes are mentioned in great detail. When we hear them, when we read them, it's very, very nourishable, very, very nourishing, relishable, and it is rasa. We say rasa. Rasa means, Prabhupada used to say that there is no equivalent word in English equal to rasa. But then Prabhupada said, because my spiritual master used the word mellow, so I also use the word mellow. We see there are 5 rasas, 5 primary and then secondary 7 rasas. So what is meaning of rasa? Our acharyas mentioned that this rasa is mentioned like this. It's how the rasa affects us is mentioned. Now just like we make bundi, when we fry the bundi basin, and then that bundi has its taste and nature. But when that is put in the chashni, the sugar syrup, then the bundi completely forgets its own nature and takes up the nature of the sugar syrup and completely absorbed, dripping in that. Similar is the mellow or rasa, bhakti rasa. That when we hear Krishna Katha, we should be able to reach that platform where we completely forget our nature as whatever bodily executions we have right now. And should we completely remember that our constitutional position is eternal servant of Krishna. So very sweet pastimes of Krishna. So in this shloka, 3 different aspects are mentioned. Prabhupada says that one is, no one but the Supreme Lord can become well versed in all the branches of Vedic wisdom simply by hearing once from his teacher. Nor can anyone bring a dead son back to life after the soul has already gone back to the region of Yamaraj. So Krishna's supremacy is mentioned. No one is equal to Krishna, no one is superior than Krishna. It is mentioned that asama urdhva. Asama means nobody is equal to Krishna, and urdhva, nobody is greater than Krishna. Nobody can equate Krishna. But foolishly, people today, they claim that they are Supreme Lord, and so many, Prabhupada said, India is factory of God, so many gods keep walking around. But Shastras mention who is God. 9th canto, till 9th canto, so much of glorification of Krishna is mentioned. And then at the end of 9th canto, then 10th canto mentions about Krishna's pastimes. Because if normally Krishna's pastimes are mentioned, then people will take it cheaply. And for sufficient purification, 9 cantos are mentioning the glories of Krishna. Krishna's supremacy, Krishna is Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maiya ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki. Shastras, so many prayers are mentioning the glories of Krishna, supremacy of Krishna. Krishna is beyond the modes of nature. Krishna is the creator of all the universes. He is transcendental to the material world. And still some people, they don't know this Vedic literature. That is why they say that I am God. But I was hearing from His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj says that when somebody claims that they are God, we should give them example from Shastras. And we should create taste from Shastras. Just like in 10th chapter, Opulence of the Supreme, in the universal form, 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that such and such, I am such and such, I am such, and then he shows universal form also. So there, Prabhupada mentions the purport that Arjuna, why Arjuna asked that, show me something proof. Because Arjuna knew that in future there will be impostors who would claim to be God. And to refute their claim, here some argument has to be there. So Arjuna asked like this, and then Krishna showed the universal form. Similarly, Maharaj says that we should give them the verification, test from Bhagavatam, from Shastras. Just like we hear here right now. Only the Lord can become well versed in all the branches of Vedic wisdom simply by hearing once from his teacher. Simply by hearing once. We remember when we go to exam, we had to cram so many times and still we forget in the exam. So, but if Krishna is like this, 64 days, 64 hours, done. Bhagavatam mentions what are the 64 hours. Prabhupada writes in Krishna book. We'll read some of this. The 10th canto, chapter number 45. Very interesting how, what all arts Krishna learned. First of all, they learned how to sing, how to compose songs, and how to recognize the different tunes, music. First of all, you may not find it, it's somewhere in the middle paragraph. They learned the favorable and unfavorable accents and meters, how to sing different kinds of rhythms and melodies, and how to follow them by beating different kinds of drums. So, music. They learned how to dance to the rhythm of melody and different songs. They learned how to write dramas, and they learned the various types of painting, from simple village art up to the highest perfectional stage. They also learned how to paint tilaka on the face by making different kinds of dots on the foreheads and cheeks. Then they learned the art of making paintings on the floor with a liquid paste of rice and flour. Such paintings are very popular at auspicious ceremonies. So, Prabhupada gives details. How to make resting place with flowers and how to decorate clothing and limbs with colorful paintings. Also learned how to set valuable jewels in ornaments. This is interesting. They learned the art of ringing water pots. Water pots are filled with water till different levels, and then that produces different sound. They also learned how to splash water in the rivers or lakes while taking a bath among friends. Decorating with flowers. And Prabhupada talks about various festivals in Vrindavan. Krishna and Balaram learned the art of dressing hair in various styles and fixing a helmet in different positions on the head. They also learned how to set up a theatrical stage and how to decorate dramatic actors with costumes. So all this artist, makeup artist, is all coming from Krishna. The art is there. How to sprinkle the sandalwood pulp and water to produce a nice fragrance. This is also an art, how to do it very nicely. They also learned the art of performing magical feats. Within the magical field, there is an art called Bahurupi, by which one person dresses himself in such a way that he can, when he approaches a friend, he cannot be recognized. Making various drinks, syrups, beverages. Some are very interesting. Puppets, how to play with puppets, playing with various musical instruments, puzzles. And later on it also comes, it's mentioned that they also learned the soil engineering. Prabhupada said soil engineering. That means just by vibrating or sensing certain places of soil, one can understand whether there are minerals in those or not. Underground there is water or not, just by touching. It's like in Sirsila we wanted to find out water level. So an expert came and he could find by using that coconut. Using coconut he can understand that how much water level So similarly, Krishna learned all these things, whether this is good mineral or not, gold and silver is available or not. Then they also learned making dress of flowers, making bed of the flowers. They learned how to train and engage rams and cocks in fighting for sport. They then learned how to teach parrots to speak and to answer the questions of human beings. There is many 64 arts are mentioned. Hypnotism, Krishna Balram learned all this. They also learned how to speak language of different animals and birds. They also learned the language of various countries. So like this, all these skills are mentioned. How to make airplane out of flowers. Then Prabhupada mentions about the Pushpaka Viman. Lord Ramachandra was carried from Sri Lanka to Bharatvarsh in the flower airplane called Pushpaka Viman. So like this, all these arts they learned just in 64 days. 64 days, 64 arts done. We understand that how much struggle we go through when we have to study something. So Krishna cannot be equated to anyone. And then another thing is mentioned is, nor can anyone bring a dead body back to life after the soul has already gone to the region of Yamaraj. One has died, then we cannot undo it. But then Krishna can do it. Only Krishna can do it and nobody else can do it. Then I heard from Radha Govind Maharaj was saying that just like Lord Ramachandra, when he was going to cross the ocean and he was at the shore of ocean and then he was requesting that please give me a way. Then 3 days he fasted but no response. Then Lord Ramachandra became very angry. And then with his angry eyes, when he glanced at the waters of Samudra, then the water started boiling. And then the ocean god appeared and he said, my dear Lord, my water does not create any obstruction to your path. But then just to set an example, you please make a bridge so that in future people understand that if somebody can make a bridge above the ocean, then that is called, he is called God. So set an example. So Maharaj says there that if someone claims that I am God, so give him a glass of water and tell him that look into this water and boil it. Then we can understand he is God. Or another example Maharaj gives us like Samudra Manthan Leela, when the churning of ocean, milk ocean was taking place, then for balancing various incarnations of the Lord appeared. And one incarnation was tortoise, Kurmadev. Kurmadev appeared. And the Kurmadev, the Meru Mandar was placed and then churning was taking place. And because the churning was giving nice scratching sensation to Kurmadev, he felt sleepy. Kurmadev felt sleepy. So Maharaj said that if somebody says that I am God, तो उनको लेटा दो नीचे और 20-50 किलो का पत्थर रखो उसके ऊपर और फिर देखो नींद आती है कि नहीं आता परमानेंटली सो जाएगा महाराज बोलते हैं. Another example Maharaj gives is just like when Krishna was in Vrindavan, then after Kaliya passed? He's not here. His Govardhan is here. When Kaliya is chastised, and then everybody is tired, everybody sleeps in the forest itself. And then when everybody is sleeping, then at night the forest fire takes place. Then Krishna, he engulfs the fire. Krishna engulfs the fire. Then Maharaj says, अगर कोई बोलता है कि मैं भगवान हूँ, तो उनको बोलो मुँह खोलो, हम थोड़ा अंगारा डालेंगे मुँह में, देखते हैं. गरम गरम राइस नहीं खा सकते लोग, चाय नहीं पी सकते और बोलते हैं कि भगवान है. So like this, Krishna cannot be equated with anyone, or rather, no one can be equated to Krishna. Krishna is the supreme Lord, Asama Urdhva. Nobody can be equal to Krishna, nobody can be superior to Krishna. And then when we understand this Krishna supremacy or supreme position of Krishna, and then we hear the pastimes of Krishna, let's say hear about Rasa Leela or so, then we can have some sensible understanding. Otherwise, there is no point, otherwise 100% will misunderstand the pastimes of Krishna. So like this, Krishna's supremacy cannot be equated by anyone else. Next thing mentioned here is, Krishna does not need to do anything, but yet to set an example, Krishna went to Gurukula, he served his spiritual master and rewarded spiritual master, satisfied him, and then got the knowledge. It's mentioned in 5th chapter, 3rd or 5th chapter, it's mentioned, Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Natat samah, no. Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phalis priha. Iti mam yo bijanati karma pir nasavidyate. 5th chapter. Krishna says that namam karmani limpanti. Krishna says that name karma phalis priya. Neither I have any desire to do something, nor I am obliged to do any activity. I don't have any desire also to do something. Because Krishna is Atmaram, he is self-satisfied, self-sufficient. If we need something, we need happiness, we have to depend on something or someone other than us, because we are not self-satisfied. We want to become happy. For happiness, we have to depend on some food, let's say some ice cream or some samosa or some object, some other than us, or someone other than us who can glorify us, who can support us, who can give us appreciation, encouragement, because we are not self-satisfied. But Krishna is self-satisfied. Atma Ram, Atma Rama Chamunyo, Nirman, Atma Rama Chamunyo. Yes, so Krishna is Atmaram, self-satisfied and self-sufficient. He does not need to depend on anyone. He does not have any desire. Name karma phalis priha. Iti mamyo vijanati karma bir nasavadyate. But anyone who understands this, that I does not have any obligation, neither any karma binds me, he is not bound by any karmic reaction. Namam karmani limpanti. Karma bir nasavadyate. He is not bound by any karmic reaction. So Krishna does not need to go to Gurukul because he is the giver of all the Vedic literatures. Krishna says, Vedesha sarvair aham eva vedyaha. I am the object to be known after studying Vedas, and I am the giver of all, compiler of all the Vedas. So Krishna does not need to go to Gurukul, but still he goes to Gurukul to set an example that one must accept a spiritual master, serve him, satisfy him. So Krishna goes to Gurukul, and then in 10th canto we hear in the 80th chapter, Krishna and Sudama, when Sudama goes to Krishna in Dwarka, there we heard that past time how Krishna is looking for that dry rice, flat rice, and Krishna snatches that and then he eats. And then after a while, Krishna massages Sudama, and then they start recalling their childhood pastimes in the Gurukul. Krishna says to Sudama, you remember that when we were in Gurukul in Avanti Ashram, under the shelter of Sandipani Muni, once we were sent for getting the firewood. So when we went for getting firewood, there was inundation of rain and we could not see anything higher and lower. It was all water everywhere, water. Everything was equal level of water. There was no difference between the lower level, higher level of land. Nothing was visible and the direction was not clear. We were lost, and holding each other's hand, we just started moving, but we were lost. We could not do anything. And then in the next morning, Sandipani Muni, our spiritual master, came searching for us, and then he took us, and then he blessed us that, my dear boys, because you have shown so much of dedication for serving me, so reward is whatever Vedic knowledge you have learned will be always fresh in your consciousness, will never be forgotten, will never become yada yama, or will never become stale. Now, we understand that Krishna does all these things, but there are a lot of principles behind it. And we hear that Prabhupada quotes this shloka so many times. The 10th chapter, 80th chapter, 10.80.30. Go to this one. It's very nice shlokas. We'll read through shlokas. 10.80. 10, 80, 30. There are series of shlokas, very nice shlokas here. Krishna starts recalling. Yes, 32 it starts. Krishna is talking about the importance of spiritual master. Savai Sat Karmana. We'll recite the shlokas. 32. 80-32. Savai Sat Karmanam Sakshat Vijatiriha Sambhavaha Adyo Angyatra Shraminaham Yatham Jnanado Guruhu. Someone can read this? Translation.
Dear friend, he who gives a person his physical birth is his first spiritual master. And he who initiates him as a twice-born Brahmana and engages him in religious duties is indeed more directly his spiritual master. But the person who bestows transcendental knowledge upon the members of all the spiritual orders of society is one's ultimate spiritual master. Indeed, he is as good as my own self.
Krishna is saying that Guru is as good as myself. There's no difference between Krishna and the spiritual master. Go to next shloka. 33. Nanvartha Kovida Brahman Varunashramavatamiha Ye Maya Guruna Vacha Tarandyajnu Anjo Bhavarnavam. Please read.
Certainly, O Brahmana, of all the followers of the Varnashram system, those who take advantage of the words I speak in my form as a spiritual master and thus easily cross over the ocean of material existence, best understand their own true welfare.
So Krishna says that Guruna Vacha, Ye Maya Guruna Vacha. Krishna says, I speak to the spiritual master. Prabhupada writes in the purports of Bhagavad, I don't recall the shloka. Prabhupada says, the words of the spiritual master should be taken as the words of Krishna himself, Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. So, it's also mentioned, His Holiness Gaur Maharaj explains this, that Krishna is sitting in the heart as Paramatma, and when Krishna sees that the person is very eager for spiritual understanding, the soul is looking for solution out of the problems of life, self-realization, then same Paramatma appeared, Chaitya Guru appeared as spiritual master in front of him. So, very important. Krishna is himself teaching the importance of spiritual master. And next. (34) How to please the spiritual master? Nahamijya prajatibhyam tapasopashamena va tushyeyam sarvabhutatma guru shushushaya yata. Please read.
I, the soul of all beings, am not as satisfied by ritual worship, Brahminical initiation, penances or self-discipline as I am by faithful service rendered to one's spiritual master.
So Krishna is personally saying that I am not naham ijya by worshipping or all these things which are mentioned. Of course, that does not mean that we have to give up these things, because in comparison this is given that Krishna is pleased most by serving the spiritual master. Krishna says that I am the soul of all beings, am not as satisfied by the ritual worship, Brahminical initiation, penances or self-discipline as I am by faithful service rendered to one spiritual master. It's so important. We see this many places. Srila Prabhupada is his own example. Srila Prabhupada had so much firm faith in his spiritual master. Of course, Prabhupada had all these good qualities. Prabhupada worshipped the deities right from childhood, Brahminic initiation, penances, self-discipline. Prabhupada was so pakka. It's mentioned many times if you read Prabhupada's biographies. Prabhupada would go for morning walk, and exactly before time of the altar opens for darshanarthi, Prabhupada would arrive. Prabhupada was so punctual. Prabhupada was so meticulous, disciplined. Once Yamuna Mataji mentions that when Prabhupada went for walk and their daily schedule was they would clean the room. So once Mataji cleaned the room, and then they had a method, step by step, first roof and then walls and tables, different things, fans. So twice they cleaned the room properly, and then after greeting the deities, after Darshanadi, Prabhupada came to the room. And when Prabhupada came, they were feeling very happy that okay, now they were feeling that Prabhupada will appreciate us, Prabhupada will compliment, Prabhupada will give some remark, compliments. They thought they were waiting for Prabhupada's response. And Prabhupada came to the room, Prabhupada looked at here and then everything was spick and span, clean. Prabhupada went to the table and Prabhupada looked at the table, there was a stapler. Prabhupada opened the stapler where we keep the pins, and there Prabhupada took, what is the dust? It showed dust. So specific. Prabhupada was amazing. So, yes, Prabhupada had all these things, but the most important part was Prabhupada's dedication to the spiritual master, his spiritual master. Once when reporter asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, how could you open so many temples and all this? Then Prabhupada told his disciple later that though we have done so much, we have written so many books, we have opened so many temples, so many disciples are trained, so many farm communities, Govindas. However, Prabhupada says, I never tried separately for all these things. The only thing I tried for, I worked for, I put efforts for was to translate these books, because that was the instruction given by my spiritual master. And everything else, the temples, devotees, everything else has come as byproduct. But the main thing I focused was to follow the instructions of my spiritual master, that is to translate these books. And everything has come automatically as byproduct. And we see same thing going on down the line in Parampara. Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they were not as learned. But when they speak, even now we can hear when they speak, so much conviction and weight they have while speaking. Because that has been endowed to them, that has been given to them, gifted to them as a gift of their dedication to spiritual master. You see all these paintings, when we see minutely, sometimes we can, Prabhupada says these are the windows to the spiritual world. When we open these paintings and minutely see the details, how they are done so nicely. To the extent that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Kirtan, that painting is there. There are shadows also. Yesterday we were seeing that painting of Kamsa being dragged down. You see there is canopy, and there is half the arena of wrestling is covered with shed and half is not. That means it was morning time, not the not the midday time. The sun must have risen. So much consciousness is gone. And it's amazing. So that all these things have been endowed to them, bestowed upon them as a gift, as blessings, because they were dedicated to spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. And they pleased Krishna. We can see that how, despite their lifestyle was not very exemplary, some of them could not live up to the standard after Prabhupada's departure. But then we see at the end, the last moment, they would come to Vrindavan and leave their body. So many. And then next. This is, we'll go to the description of how they went. Hmm. 40, text number 40. Now Sandipuni Muni gives blessings. Aho he putrika ayuyam asmadarte ati dukkhitaha atma vai praninam preshtas tam anadritya matparaha. Please read.
Sandipani said, O my children, you have suffered so much for my sake. The body is most dear to every living creature, but you are so dedicated to me that you completely disregarded your own comfort.
Next. That means service to spiritual master with personal inconvenience also. This is the duty. This indeed is the duty of all true disciples, to repay the debt to their spiritual master by offering him with pure hearts their wealth and even their very lives. And then next mantra, next shloka says, text number 42. Tushtoham bodhvijasreshtaha Satyah santu manorathaha Chandamsi ayatayamani Bhavantu hi paratra cha. Please read.
You boys are first-class Brahmanas, and I am satisfied with you. May all your desires be fulfilled, and may the Vedic mantras you have learned never lose their meaning for you in this world or the next.
So, these are blessings received by Krishna and Balaram, Sudama, everybody from Sandipani Muni. Similarly, Prabhupada says, Acharya Mam Vijaniya. In 11th canto, 17th chapter, it comes when Krishna is talking to Uddhava. There also it's about Uddhava's involvement. Krishna says to Uddhava, Acharya Mam Vijaniyat Navamanyet Karishij Nabuddhya Namartya Buddhya Suviyeta Sarvadeva Mayo Guruhu. Krishna says that Acharya Mam Vijaniyat. Understand an Acharya as good as myself. We should understand that an Acharya is as good as Krishna. Acharya Mam Vijaniyat Navamanyet Karishij. He should be never disregarded. Avamanyet Karishij Namartya Buddhya Suviyeta. We should not put material bodily intelligence or impose that bodily concept on the spiritual master, on Acharya. Namarti Buddhya Suyata Sarvadeva Mayo Guruhu. Because his embodiment, Acharya is embodiment of all the demigods. Similarly, Prabhupada says another place, Shastra quotations. Acharya Upasanam Chaiva, Acharya Upasana. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, the austerity of the body is to worship the superiors and spiritual master. And then Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Vedas say the Acharyavan Purusho Veda. One who possesses an Acharya in the heart, he gets the knowledge of all the Vedic literatures. Purusho Veda. He knows the Vedas. Just like we say that Bhagavan, one who possesses opulences. Similarly, Gyanvan, Vidvan, one who possesses knowledge. Similarly, Acharyavan, one who possesses Acharya in the heart, carries Acharya in the heart. He knows, he can understand the purport of all the Vedas. And examples are amazing how by serving the spiritual master one gets benedictions. Just like Madhavendra Puri. Sripad Madhavendra Puri Pad had two disciples. Who were they? Ramachandra Puri and Ishvara Puri. Ramachandra Puri, because he disregarded when Sripad Madhavendra Puri would shed tears out of love of God, and Ramachandra Puri made comments that why you are crying like a sentimentalist, you are a sannyasi. And because of displeasing, the result was he started finding faults with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. He started finding faults with everybody, God also, spiritual. So that's he was doomed in spiritual life. But on the other hand, Sripad Ishvara Puri, he served his spiritual master Sripad Madhavendra Puri with all heart and dedication. And the result was Sripad Madhavendra Puri blessed him that you will get love of God. Not only that he got love of God, he got God himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as his disciple. So that dear is Guru Seva to Krishna. And then this is the second part. By accepting spiritual master, one should serve him, and then one should also give him some dakshina, Guru Dakshina, which is mentioned here that Krishna went because when Krishna and Balaram asked for remuneration, he asked his Guru, Sandipani Muni, what remuneration can we give you? And Sandipani Muni understood that they are not ordinary boys, so we should ask something extraordinary. He asked, bring my son back who is dead. So immediately Krishna and Balaram, they go with their chariot. I don't know if there was chariot that time, Gurukul should not be chariot. So they went immediately, and then they went to Prabhasa Kshetra. Prabhasa Kshetra, they went and asked the Samudradev that, bring my son. And Samudradev said that he was killed by Panchajan, the demon. So he must be having it. So Krishna Balaram goes there and they kill this demon. Krishna book mein wo painting hoga. And then because the body is shell, conch shell, that is the body of that demon. That the demon is killed, but the son was not found. Sandipani Muni's son was not found. But Krishna brought that conch shell, that is Panchajanyam, Rishikeshu, Devadatam Dhananjaya. That's how Krishna got that conch shell. And then they went to Yamalpuri. Yamlok mein jaake, they asked Yamraj, bring my spiritual master's son. Then Yamraj brought the son back, and then Krishna Balaram took them back. So that is extraordinary. Ati Martya Bhagavan, 10th canto. Guda Kapad Manusha. The ordinarily people cannot understand this deep. deep aspects of Krishna Katha. That second part, to serve the spiritual master. And then yes, and similarly Krishna is talking about various aspects of knowledge and various things, what is best in the material world or anywhere. He is giving information to Uddhava, giving knowledge to Uddhava in Uddhava Gita. There Krishna says various things which are best. One of the things Krishna says that what is definition of various things? Cleanliness is the detachment in fruitive activities, where renunciation is the sannyas order of life. The true desirable wealth for human beings is religiousness, and I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, am the sacrifice. Krishna is defining various things. Now, religious remuneration is devotion to the Acharya with the purpose of acquiring spiritual instructions. And the greatest strength is the pranayama strength of breath control. So Krishna says the greatest spiritual remuneration, religious remuneration is devotion to the Acharya. This is the greatest remuneration. So that's how we understand Shastras emphasize so much. And Prabhupada gave us, it's a unique program what Prabhupada has given us, because everywhere else we see that people get up in the morning and then Mangal Aarti hum kiski karte hain? Bhagwan ki karte hain. But what do we sing? Guru Ashtakam. So right from the beginning, Prabhupada is teaching us how much is important the service to spiritual master. Prabhupada says whatever happens, we should not miss Guru Puja, because that's the time we pay respects to Prabhupada, express our gratitude to Prabhupada, and beg for forgiveness for any offenses done in the last day. We heard many Prabhupada's disciples, very exemplary. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Sometimes devotees would have the opportunity to have some seva. So, in case Maharaj's health was very down, Maharaj could not come for Mangalarti, then Maharaj would attend Mangalarti live in the room. He would put the TV. And when he is worshipping the deities, his personal deities, Maharaj would say, okay, sing Mangalarti. If he has missed Mangalarti there, going to temple, Maharaj would tell the devotee, sing Mangalarti and sing Guru Puja. So like this, we can express our gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. This is the second point. And the third point mentioned here is that the Lord is not therefore an ingrate to anyone who in his loving service are never to be disappointed. Who renders him some sort of service. The devotee of the Lord who always engages in his loving service are never to be disappointed in the progressive march of devotional service. So anyone who renders any kind of service to Krishna, then Krishna is indebted. Just like when Krishna goes to Sudama, and Sudama, after nice exchange of love and affection from Krishna, Sudama is leaving now, and Krishna bids farewell. While Sudama is going, Sudama is thinking that how much honor, how much respect, how much love and affection Krishna has given me. I don't deserve all these things, because Krishna personally put me on his bedstead and all the opulences, and then I don't deserve this, but still Krishna has given me. So he's feeling grateful. On the other hand, what Krishna is thinking, that is also mentioned by Acharyas. Krishna is thinking, because when Sudama enters the palace, and Sudama is just entering, he enters the gate, and then Krishna sees Sudama, Krishna comes running, and Krishna embraces Sudama. So it's mentioned that Krishna, this act is confusing for many ministers, because ministers are thinking that how Krishna is embracing such a thin, lean, poor, unclean Brahmana. Because Krishna reserves his embrace only for Rukmini Devi and Balramji in Dwarka. He does not embrace anybody else. But here he is embracing this Brahmana. Who is this Brahmana? Everybody is surprised. And then Prabhupada mentioned that the veins of this Brahmana are visible, lean and thin. So everybody is surprised. But then Krishna just gives a smile as a reply, indicating that don't worry, the torn clothes, the veins, the niggardiousness is not going to last for many days. In very short time, I am going to reward so much and going to change all these things. And then when Krishna rewards so much, Sudama is thinking like this, that I don't deserve all these things. And Krishna has given so much honor, respect, affection. On the other hand, what is Krishna thinking? That is also mentioned by Acharyas. Krishna is thinking that Sudama brought something which he does not possess himself. He begged from someone and then gifted me. And now because it's my duty that whatever people give, accordingly I reciprocate. As people approach me, I reciprocate. So similarly, in this case of Sudama, I will have to reciprocate the way he has approached. He got something which does not belong to him. He begged from people and brought it. So similarly, I love to bring begging from someone and give him. But whom will I beg from? Everything belongs to me. So Krishna thinks that I will be eternally indebted. Similarly, gopis of Vrindavan, they left everything and came to serve Krishna. Krishna says that because they were given up everything, I will be eternally indebted to the gopis. Krishna is never an ingrate to whoever does any service. And similarly, when we do any seva to Krishna, and especially through acharyas, great acharyas, yuga acharyas, many devotees say yuga acharya, it's never going to be a disappointing situation. And we can just put as much possible. And it's of course Prabhupada is going to do all the arrangements, but then we just put our efforts a little bit. And then at what level Prabhupada is thinking book distribution? So we are in marathon month. What level Prabhupada is thinking book distribution? Who knew that Prabhupada would engage the Prime Minister in book distribution? It's Prabhupada's arrangement, Prabhupada's desire, and Krishna fulfills it. So we should try our best to serve Krishna in the way Krishna is exemplified in his life, and then you can please the Acharya to get the blessings. Hare Krishna. Any question?
Is like somebody else, sorry, because Sandipan Muni's son is Madhumangal. So just curious to know whether the son of this, here it is mentioned, no, that Lord brought the son of Sandipani Muni back. So is it Madhumangal? Is he Madhumangal only?
I have not come across any information. I do not know. Someone who has read, someone knows about it.
Question. I have question.
Yes.
So the 64 arts Krishna learned from the Gurukul, but he already has all these abilities before only. So pure devotees, they also have this 64 arts, they know all these arts. Because I heard one time Prabhupada was speaking with even bird, monkey also, monkey language. And
Prabhupada said that I don't know everything, but whatever I need to know, Krishna tells me. So, a pure devotee possesses all the 8 siddhis and everything. It does not show this to people. Once, yeah, it is possible. Prabhupada once was on a beach, and Prabhupada was in his quarters, and the monkey came. Once Prabhupada was taking a morning walk, and the dog came. So Prabhupada with his cane, he says, "Hut!" and the dog went away. And one disciple saw this. And then after some time, when Prabhupada was in his quarters, and a monkey came. And similarly, he took a stick and he told, "Hut!" So monkey pounced upon him. Then Prabhupada came, and Prabhupada saw him with second approach. So Prabhupada told that, see, you have to understand the tricks. For a dog, you tell him hut once, he goes away. But for a monkey, when you tell him go away, then he'll pounce upon you. You have to tell him second time, then he goes away. So you can try this. I tried this in Vrindavan. Exactly it happened like this. So yes, a pure devotee knows everything. An acharya is extraordinary. He knows everything, how to do things. He knows how to deal with animals, birds, humans, everything. Once Satsvarup Maharaj writes that once Satsvarup Maharaj had taken the service of serving Prabhupada as Prabhupada's secretary, very newly. And he was making mistakes. So Prabhupada was very tolerant in training him, teaching him. So he did something wrong, and Prabhupada did not chastise him. Prabhupada told a story. Prabhupada told that once there was Mr. Newton, Sir Isaac Newton, had 2 cats. And he called the carpenter and told the carpenter to make 2 holes in his door. And carpenter made the 2 holes. And when another scientist friend came and asked, why these 2 holes? So Newton said that there are 2 holes for 2 cats. I have 2 cats. But then, why 2 holes? From one hole, both the cats can go. So Newton said, no, one cat is big and one cat is small. So big for big cat and small hole for small cat. But the another scientist said that, but both big and small cat can go through one bigger hole. and says, hey, I never thought of this, it was my foolishness. Prabhupada told this story to Satsur Maharaj to indicate that it's your foolishness to do this mistake. Then once Prabhupada was taking morning walk in Juhu, this was Juhu. So Prabhupada got down from his car and then they went, 50 meters they walked, and then Maharaj came running back because he forgot his bead bag in the car. So Prabhupada asked, what happened, why you are going back? And Maharaj said that, Prabhupada, I forgot my bead bag. And Prabhupada just sarcastically said, Sir Isaac Newton. It's only Maharaj understood, nobody else could understand the code language. So how lovingly Prabhupada would chastise, correct. Sometimes we needed very heavy with some disciples. So Prabhupada knew how to be with, in what dealings with whom. So an Acharya understands how to deal with any living entity, be bird, animal, human, and engage them in Krishna service, bring them close to Krishna. Okay, we'll end here. Produce some comment. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki, Śrīla Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki.
His Grace Ishan Gaur Prabhu Ji ki.